Good evening. It is Wednesday, September 10th, and we are here for the Planning and Zoning Commission study session. We have one item on the APS school district, the Lotus School, and I believe that Ben or Benjamin is going to lead us off. So go ahead and take it away, Ben.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Ben Bravenick, presenting for staff. Tonight, I'm presenting an advisory site plan named Lotus School for Excellence. The applicant, Proof Civil Co., is requesting the review of an advisory site plan for a new building and parking area on an existing school site located in the R2 zone district and within the established neighborhood place type. The subject site is located on East Alameda Avenue, adjacent to the Highline Canal between South Havana Street and South Moline Street, directly across from Expo Park. Here's an aerial view where you can see the existing site and where the proposed building will be located. The dark blue is the existing school where minor improvements will be made to the pedestrian connection, and the light blue is where the new building and parking area will be located. The proposal is permitted within the R2 zone district, and the use is compatible with the surrounding zoning areas as well as uses. Here are photos from East Alameda Avenue facing north, where you can see the existing school site. The second photo is the location where the pedestrian connection will be made to both the existing building and the proposed building behind it. Here's a photo where the proposal will be located at the rear of the site. Shown here is the proposed advisory site plan for the new building. The first image shows the entire site with the existing school building, and the second image shows just the proposed building and parking area. The project proposes a new 15,000 square foot, 2-story school building and an additional 62 parking spaces. During the initial advisory review, 3 main items were discussed for the proposed advisory site plan. First being the pedestrian connection, second, the non-compliant UDO standards that were not addressed, and third are the unresolved issues from other departments that will be addressed during the civil review process. The original plan proposes no direct pedestrian connection from the existing and proposed school building entry to the public right-of-way. Staff worked with the applicant to pick a safe route from the sidewalk to the main building and then a smaller connection to the proposed building. Originally, a path was shown through the parking lot on a small concrete strip between parking stalls. But with staff's recommendation, striping to an existing park space in the middle of the parking lot with sidewalks is now shown. Staff reviews all school applications for compliance with the UDO standards. While compliance with the code is not required, we typically work with the school to notify them of the standards and gain consistency in the proposal with typical development. There are several items with the proposed layout that the school is not willing to meet. First, the proposal does not meet the buffer requirements to the west, where a 25-foot special landscape buffer is required for areas adjacent to public parks, open space, and trails. The proposal matches what is existing on the site, where there is also no 25-foot special landscape buffer. The site proposes an access drive along the west side of the proposed building, which abuts the property line, so no buffer is proposed. No landscape is proposed with the new parking lot, so the proposal does not meet the parking lot screening or landscaping requirements. Lastly, the proposed building does not meet several architectural design requirements. Mainly, it does not have a roofline variation or provide the required human scale elements on the south or west, which are the most visible facades. The proposal has a few outstanding comments that are planned to be resolved during the civil plan and concurrent plat review. There are outstanding comments on the traffic impact study regarding when peak hours are measured, traffic signal timings, and including more information such as traffic volumes during afternoon release. There are also comments from the Civil Department about the design of the sidewalk curb ramps located on East Alameda Avenue. The proposed site plan demonstrates existing conditions for East Alameda Avenue, which is adequate for the advisory site plan, but does not meet long-term requirements of the Public Works Department review. Due to the MOU, the planning review process cannot require more than one review prior to scheduling the application before the Planning Commission. Therefore, these items will be further reviewed at a later stage. Staff wanted to touch upon the community response to the proposed building. Per the MOU school agreement, notifications to the application and Planning Commission review are not required by the City of Aurora. However, the school district is encouraged to notify all impacted properties and community organizations independently. During the review, City received one comment where a resident requested that the city approve this project and no community meeting was held. Although the regulations of the UDO are advisory, staff has reviewed the proposal to the site plan criteria and found the proposal is consistent with the Aurora Places Comprehensive Plan by providing important neighborhood services to children and families within Aurora and is supporting land use for the established neighborhood place type. The proposal improves the existing multimodal opportunities by improving pedestrian access to the site, and the proposal does not meet all UDO requirements, but has followed the guidance of the MOU advisory site plan review process. Because the application does not generally follow the standards of the UDO, there are a few options of what you can request as Planning Commission. We could move forward with the proposal. The TIS and civil design review comments will be addressed during the civil stage, but the UDO requirements will not be met. The second option is that you can request a meeting with the school board. Per the MOU, if there are issues where the school district and the Planning Commission cannot reach an agreement, the Planning Commission will request a hearing with the Board of Education. Lastly, you can request the applicant to come back to Planning Commission study session to present an update after TIS plat and civil design issues are resolved. This request, however, cannot be required. In conclusion, the site plan approval criteria, staff does not find the application to be generally consistent with requirements of the UDO. However, per the MOU, the applicant may proceed through the advisory site plan process. Staff believes that the significant life safety issues that remain unresolved will be further addressed through the civil review process. If the Planning Commission has significant concerns, staff awaits direction to meet with the school board as outlined by the MOU. With that, that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any, and the applicant is also here for any questions.
Thank you, Ben. Questions, Commissioner Riley?
Can you go back to the plat that shows how the Highline Canal abuts the northern part of it? Okay, so when I toured the site, and the road out front is one way, I'm just concerned, looking at the traffic issues there, and they're trying to build more pedestrian access. Because no one's going to be able to get on the north side because of the canal. So everything's going to have to funnel in from the south side. And it just seems that with an additional school, more kids coming in, more vehicles coming in on a road that doesn't allow you to cross over until you go further down. I mean, what's the concern about heading west on Alameda and then all these people turn around at Ironton? Or, I mean, how's that impact going to be negated?
I will open that question up to the applicant.
Let's do this. Let's take questions. So we'll put a pin in your question, Commissioner. And after the applicant presentation, we can answer all of those. Are there any more commissioners that have a question for Benjamin? Hearing none, let's go ahead and
I think Commissioner Hogan.
Yes.
Yeah, Ben, would you mind going over the I'd like to dig in a little bit more on how the application doesn't meet the UDO requirements. Specifically, can you go back and talk a little bit more about the buffer and the setback?
Yeah, absolutely. Hang on. So there are three main things that come from UDO requirements that have not been addressed. The main thing is the MUE. So there's that buffer that's a 25-foot buffer. Because of that access, it's within that buffer, and there's a 0-foot buffer. The other UDO questions are about landscaping. So there's no landscaping proposed within their current parking lot, which does not meet our screening requirements or our internal parking lot landscaping requirements. The last issue is just the architecture itself. So that comes from my review, where there is not roofline variation, which would normally be required, nor is there human scale elements on the secondary facades, which we clarified as the west-facing facade and the south-facing facade, because one faces the street and one can be visible from the street and one faces the Highline Canal. All other issues are from other departments and will be reviewed for civil approval and will need to be met.
I think in my follow-up question to the landscaping, is there anything addressed there? The lack of landscaping, that very large parking lot is kind of sandwiched in between a detention pond and the Highline Canal. Is there a concern of watershed there? And the building kind of sits in between the two. And I was curious how, because I believe we have some grading, and I was just looking at that, but I was concerned about the lack of variegation or breaking up that parking lot with any landscaping, what the watershed looks like across that building with the canal right there.
So drainage is being reviewed and will have to meet all city standards. So
Okay.
they will go through that process to meet all of our drainage standards.
Perfect. Thank you. No further questions, Commissioner Hogan.
Any further questions by any of the other commissioners before we hear the applicant presentation? All right, seeing none, applicant, can you please provide your name, your address, and whether or not you reside in the city of Aurora, please?
Hi, everyone. I'll go ahead and speak up here. My name is Ryan Adranya. I'm the architect on the project. So we have a few different representatives here with us today for this project. First off, we appreciate you all taking the time to take a look at this project, and we appreciate your feedback and input. We've got our civil engineers on here with us, and I believe we also have our owner's rep on as well. So there was comment about access. I think that Mike, you were making there initially. We were working with a traffic engineer to analyze the pickup drop-off times, which are obviously kind of the busiest times for any school, and we're looking at options in terms of staggered start times. But one thing that we are accomplishing here is the route that runs around the new classroom building gives us additional queuing for that pickup drop off that may be added in addition to what we already have today. So that was kind of one of the goals here is optimizing that pickup drop off queuing line as it wraps around the building. And obviously acts as fire apparatus access as well. So is there something more that we can speak to more specifically regarding that concern?
Well, hey Ryan, I also think that James wants to speak on this one.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah, James, are you able to unmute and speak?
Ryan, before
Hi, James, you should be able to unmute.
You stated what you did, but you did not give us your company name or your address. please.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. My company name is Adranya Architecture and Development. Address. Yeah, go ahead. Address is in Parker, Colorado.
Okay, thank you. And Jason, we would ask that you do the same. Please introduce us, your company name, and your address for the record.
Absolutely. Thank you, Commissioners, for hearing our proposal. My name is James Hughes. I'm with I am with Blueprint. We're a non-profit full-service real estate developer that is both investing in the project and acting as owner's representative during the management of the project. My geographic location, I'm physically located in Seattle. However, we have an office in Colorado, or rather we have a couple of employees in Colorado who are leading up the Colorado group. We entered into Colorado only recently, so we don't actually have an office address there yet. But my physical location right now is in West Seattle. So the thing I wanted to add, as Ryan had mentioned, with regards to the traffic, yeah, we developed a traffic study that analyzed the traffic flow of the existing condition. There are over 1,000 students that are currently attending the existing K-12 school. This expansion, which is at the rear of the property towards the back, as you saw in the photos in Ben's presentation, is it will add up to 400 seats, 400 new student seats. The traffic study analyzed both the existing conditions and the proposed future conditions under the new loading with the additional students. Currently there is no staggering for arrival and drop-off with the 1,000 students. But as part of this proposal, we are working with the school to develop a staggered program for both the existing 1,000 student population as well as the proposed future 400 student enrollment. And both of those have significant impacts in the arrival and dismissal volumes and concentrations of those volumes. Staff at the city have reviewed the initial submittal of the traffic report and provided comments and guidance around additional studies and information that they wanted to see for the final, both of which were warmly welcomed. I think we had taken perhaps a more conservative approach in our review, aligning both the peak drive hour time on Alameda, as well as assuming that that would align with the dismissal and arrival, versus in actuality, the arrival and dismissal times being earlier in the afternoon versus the peak volume from commuters in the 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock hour. So our traffic consultant is currently revising his study to make that adjustment, and also make an adjustment based on there is a pedestrian crossing at the canal that crosses Alameda there that's on a light. So the original analysis had not evaluated the impacts associated with that natural break in traffic on pedestrian use. And so we've had a subcontractor go out and take measurements of that pedestrian travel and have the traffic engineer include that analysis as part of the overall impact associated with the arrival dismissal. As Ryan said, the circulation is key here, both for the pedestrian safety as they come in, but also for the uniform and timely dispersion of traffic once it has circulated through the site and to come out. If one goes past the site during current school hours, you'll see that they have a strict entry only into one entrance and exit only out of the other entrance in order to control and mitigate some of the complications that might arrive with people trying to arrive and leave from the same entrance. So there are 2 points onto the site off of Alameda. I think, and I'm not a traffic expert, so I'm speaking, after having extensive conversations with the traffic engineer. Unfortunately, he's not here to answer questions, but I'd be happy to take any points of feedback back to him. And so the last thing I would say is that we're planning on resubmitting the traffic study with the additional analysis requested end of next week.
Commissioners, do you have any questions of Jason?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I have one question, and you had mentioned in the things that you were able to do in the UDO, and then things that you're talking about. Safety was one of those issues, and I just want to know if the architects are now taking into consideration the issues, the problems that we had today in our schools, and that we've had really for a while with reference to the construction of the building and how maybe the alarm systems, the doors shut automatically, things like that. I just want to know if you guys are thinking about that, and if so, uh, would it be in the next few years, or when does that really happen?
And sorry, Commissioner, is your question with regards to the existing building or the proposed building?
The proposed building.
Thank you. I'll let Ryan talk to the specific features of the proposed building. I just want to highlight that safety is definitely a primary issue for any school, specifically schools with very sensitive populations such as elementary school students. So yes, in general, I would say that has sort of guided much of our design decisions. But Ryan, if you want to speak to specifics.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely take all of those items into consideration as it pertains to safety for the students and staff and parents surrounding the school. So, I mean, we have secure entries and check-in that's required before entry is allowed into the new classroom building. All the glazing on the first floor is a bullet resistant type glazing. And then we've got cameras on the exterior and interior, and then we have automatic fire department notification in the event of an emergency. Voice evacuation will be included in the entire building. That's an automatic notification system that alerts the building occupants in the event of any type of emergency.
All right.
And perhaps the one thing I would add there, Ryan, is we also take seriously the health of the students and anyone who occupies the building. So this new building will have state-of-the-art heating, ventilation, and air circulation controls. So obviously on top of mind with the recent COVID epidemic.
Well, that's great. I just got a big smile on my face. I'm really happy to see that, and that you guys are really doing a great job for the future buildings.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yep.
Any further questions for Ryan or James?
What is there any fencing planned to go around the playground or the play areas at all?
Sorry. Yes, we do have fencing that runs around the playground, the new playground area. I believe there's existing perimeter property line fencing that separates the school property from the Highline Canal.
Okay. My concern, the reason why I asked that question, my concern is, especially the southeast corner of that new playground is very dark at night. All the lights are on the north and the west side, and that would definitely be a community safety concern. Obviously, you don't want to have people playing on the playground after dark, but that presents a concern if someone is there, if that's not well barriered from the public.
Yep, we do have. It is fairly well barriered from the public. There are secure gates on the south side that are motorized gates that are locked at the end of the day. But at the same time, we are adding a decent amount of site lighting to light up around the building and the play areas during the shorter daylight times of the year.
I do have some questions for you. Is there a representative from APS on this call?
I don't believe there is, and I think that may be an oversight on our part, so I apologize for that. I don't think we, and again, this could just be my ignorance of the process. We didn't alert them to this meeting, so our apologies for that.
Okay, so I do, I'm sorry, Commissioner Walls?
Commissioner Hogan, I just had sort of a procedural question maybe for staff. I was curious why at this particular point it's coming to us for advisory site plan and a study session. I mean, this still seems like a bit of a runny omelet, especially given all the comments in the traffic study. I definitely want to review a traffic study, their final, everything that they've got to do, all their homework after this. Those are important things for us to see, for me to even issue any sort of consent opinion or anything like that, to say, yeah, this looks great, or no, this doesn't look great. I was curious about procedurally where this fits and why it's coming to us now. This doesn't seem ready to come to Planning Commission.
I can talk to that, yes. We are just following the procedures of the MOU. We cannot require a second review, so we are required to give them the option to come to Planning and Zoning Commission after the first review. The applicant chose to resolve a few minor issues before this Planning and Zoning Commission without a formal review process, just to shape a few things up. In terms of the UDO requirements, planning does not have the ability to require any of those, and all of the significant issues from the other departments, such as the TI, the traffic impact study, those can be resolved during the civil review process. But in terms of why it is here so early, it is because planning does not have any ability to require a formal second review.
You see, I guess, because here's my problem. As it stands today, what I'm seeing right now, there's no way I would consent to moving forward and would want to request a meeting with the school board to discuss this particular plan. Namely, the parking lot is an island that is one way in, one way out. That's a massive life safety trap in the back of the property. I think that presents a huge problem. And I think that we have some serious life safety considerations, but if they're going through all of those reviews after this point, we don't then have the opportunity to request that meeting with the school board. Is tonight a use it or lose it opportunity to request that? Or can we come back at a later date and reconsider after those reviews have been done?
I hope that Lena is here, that she can help about any legal issues. I believe that this is your chance to formally set that meeting up. The other option I have in here is it is not this cannot be required, but you can request of the applicant tonight to come back to study session and present those items.
I believe that Lena has her hand up. So Lena is our attorney for the Planning Commission, gentlemen. So Lena, floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Hogan. This is Lena McClellan, Assistant City Attorney for the city. And I was just going to say, Ben is correct. This is your opportunity to ask for that meeting or that hearing with the Board of Education.
Okay, thank you, Lena.
For those applicants, thank you very much for allowing us to see this. I completely concur with Chair Walls that this frankly was not ready to come to us, and it sounded like there was a bit of misunderstanding on your part about what is needed when presenting before Planning Commission. I would be very uncomfortable approving something like this, or even recommending, or even frankly being advisory without the school being present. There's a number of questions that I have for an APS person, whether it's a board or a staff person. We usually have that at when schools are being presented. So
If I may, Commissioner, I'm sorry, I apologize. I don't mean to interrupt, but
Go ahead, James.
so we have, just to be very, very clear, we've been engaging with the city and the various departments since, well, we had our preliminary meeting in February. We submitted our civil site plans in, I believe it was early April. We've been working with the different departments through submission and resubmission, addressing the comments. So I want to be very clear that from the fire department, the public works department, the traffic department, all have had opportunities to review the materials and provided comments to which we're addressing at this point. The civil documents have been resubmitted today. That's our first resubmission after talking with Aurora Water, after talking with the Public Works Department and the Planning and the Engineering departments. And we have addressed, we believe, I mean, we won't know for sure until they confirm, but we believe we've addressed all the concerns, including life safety concerns. So I just want to be very clear, Mike, I definitely want to let you talk to this, but I want to be very clear that this is not our first blush look at the project, and I believe the city and its various departments has had a review. And then with regards to the public school district, they absolutely have been a partner in this process and they're aware of the project. But as a charter school, we're also beholden to the charter school board, the board of this particular school. So just wanted to make sure that was clear, that this isn't us coming to you with our first submission or first blush. These plans have been developed in conjunction with the various departments within the city.
I believe, Matthew, you had your hand up.
I think it was Mike Swanton.
Yeah,
Mike,
this is Mike Swanton with Proof Civil. Hi, Commissioner Hogan. We worked on the Trinity storage in Arvada a long time ago, if you remember that one. Yeah, just to piggyback on what James was saying, through the civil plan review, we're going to have to get approval through, fire, life safety, Aurora Water. So it's not like we're trying to scapegoat all of those items with this submittal. Initially, when this project started, we were told that we actually didn't have to go through a planning submittal process. So then that stalled our civil plan review when we finally rushed to get a civil or a site plan process or package together to be submitted to allow us to continue on in our civil plan review process. So we're pretty far down the line working with Aurora Water in terms of how the detention pond outfalls. We've worked on whether we can or cannot release to the High Line. So it's not like we're trying to avoid any UDO issues. As far as the 25-foot landscape setback works, I think that ultimately our site would be undevelopable if we had to, adhere to that. And then the Highline Canal in this location has a vertical discrepancy to our site by, 8 to 10 feet. So I don't even know where providing 25 feet of landscaping on our actual property would benefit anyone on the Highline who can't see it. But that's probably a better discussion offline. So yeah, like I said, we're not trying to avoid anything. We've worked with Fire Life Safety with Steve Kirshner. We've provided him, as far as he's concerned, he has 2 points of access to the west side and east side of the existing building. And he has signed off on that. We've moved the FDC on the site. So like I said, we have to get civil plan approval through all these different jurisdictions to actually get to the finish line. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that.
Thank you very, very much. Just a minor edit on the site plan. The year is 2025 in your signature block versus 2023. Commissioners, can you give me a poll of your feeling on this? Is there anyone that is ready to move forward with this proposal tonight? I'm seeing heads, no, Commissioner Jejic, you are ready to move forward with this? You're muted.
Yes, I am. I walk along the Highline Canal frequently with my dog, and I see no problems. I do see balls in the Highline Canal, in the canal itself, but I think the little fence will stop that. A few years ago, we did have a homeless encampment under the viaduct going under Alameda, but I think that's been cleaned up too, and there hasn't been that much graffiti lately. It seems like this group is really addressing all the issues, and I think working through it with the other entities as we go forward, it'll be okay.
Yep.
Okay. Have you down for that? Commissioner Bush?
Yes, and I agree with Gail in that we had approved a school on the Anschutz campus. I think it was a charter school there. And we were told at that particular time that it is not a matter of our approval, that this is like a courtesy of the Aurora school to really to show us what's going on. But it wasn't brought in the study session for us to approve it or disapprove it. That was my understanding, and I think that's what Lena said as well.
So, Commissioner Bush, you are favoring moving this forward?
Right, exactly. Since it was just a notice to us, it wasn't brought to us for an approval or disapproval.
Okay, anyone else ready to move this forward? Seeing none, option 2 is Planning Commission meeting with the school board. Is anyone favoring that option?
One quick procedural question, Commissioner Hogan. Does that occur in study session or on regular agenda?
I'm going to defer to Ben or to Lena on that one, since this is an advisory capacity. Ben or Lena, would you please?
Commissioner Hogan, so if you're not satisfied with the response and you request a hearing, it's before the Board of Education. So it's with the Board of Education. And so if that's the decision you all make tonight, or if that's the choice that you all make, I will reach out to the Board of Education to figure out what the process is. But no, it would not be, I don't believe it would be a study session of like a planning commission study session. It's a hearing with the Board of Education.
Thank you. Jason, I think I saw your hand pop up.
Yeah, I'm Jason DeYoung with Proof Civil as well. And I just wanted to make sure that I heard that clearly, because I thought I heard at the beginning that the meeting would be with the school board. And if there couldn't come to terms in that meeting, it would go to the Board of Education. Is that not the case?
I think the second point in the middle of our screen says we can request a hearing with the Board of Education.
Okay, so it would go straight to, okay.
Which I am assuming is the APS school board versus a charter school board. Is that correct? Since it is a charter school?
I think, would it be
Commissioner
CSI?
Hogan, the statute says Board of Education. So I believe it would be APS and not the Charter Schools Board.
Okay. Commissioner Banka, and then Mike, I'll go to you.
Thank you. So I'm a little confused. I mean, it sounds like our approval one way or another doesn't matter. So as far as, are we ready to move it forward or not move it forward? I mean, I'm kind of hearing that it really doesn't matter, that this is just for us to kind of know what's going on. Am I wrong? I mean, if our opinion one way or the other doesn't really matter, then I can move it forward. I'm happy to move it forward, you know. But if if we have to take a stand or make a motion to move it forward or not move it forward, then I don't know. I have some concerns, but it sounds like they're all being addressed. So I guess my question is, does our opinion on this really matter? I mean, it sounds like the issues are going to be addressed, and it's going to be what it's going to be, and this is just a courtesy to notify us. Am I correct, or is that wrong?
Again, I'm going to defer to our city attorney and or Ben.
Commissioner Hogan, Lena, McClelland. So I'll do my best to answer that. You all are advisory for these site plans. However, the statute does say that if you feel that your comments and review as you're not satisfied with the responses, then you may request a hearing before the Board of Education. So yes, it is advisory in that you are not approving or denying the site plan at this time or ever, right? But you do have the option to have a hearing with the Board of Education if you have concerns about the site plan.
Okay, let's see, I'm going to go to Mike because he's been waiting with his hand up, and then we'll come back to Sunny. Mike?
Are you talking? You're not talking me.
Mike Swanton has his hand.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Oh, I apologize. I think that was from before. But I do have a question. Concerns that you believe aren't going to be met with the civil plan review? Because I think we have to meet the traffic requirements. We have to meet fire, life safety, drainage, utilities, rural water, all that. So.
Okay, Commissioner Banka, your hand is now down.
Oh, I meant it should still be up. Sorry. Okay. I guess after so long, it just puts it down for me. I still have a comment. Am I allowed to ask?
Of course.
Oh, okay, thank you, Chair. So I'm just going to say, in lieu of the issues today and other school shooting issues, the traffic pattern, for parents to pick up kids or first responders to get in there to the parking lot, that is just creating major heartburn. I don't know if anybody on here has been a parent that had to pick up kids in any kind of an emergency, but it looks to me like that flow for the parking lot that would be chaos in the case of any emergency, whether it was for parents or first responders or anybody else. And I'm not, I'm just a volunteer planning commissioner and not planning staff. But I don't know. I'm having a hard time with that. And if it's past all the traffic and all the proper, areas, then so be it. I guess it is. And I would say move forward. But that piece of it's really got me very concerned. I don't know if anybody's ever had to pick up a kid in an emergency situation, but if you have, you don't forget it, So just my 2 cents worth.
So I saw Jason had his hand up, and as does Ben. Let's go Jason and then Ben, please.
Yeah, so I wanted to address that question. So we are following the life safety guidelines when it comes to easement width, number of access points. Those are not subjective guidelines that the fire department is enforcing, and they address width of easement for building heights, for emergency access. And not creating dead ends. They address turnarounds, number of access points, and so we are addressing all of those as part of the application and have been in contact, like Mike said, with the life safety department.
And you know what? Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I obviously haven't been, but I appreciate knowing that. That's a, that's a worry. And
Yeah.
today's a good example of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So not only are we not, I mean, that's one of the reviews that we absolutely have to abide by and would regardless, because as James mentioned, safety is paramount.
Thank you.
Ben, you're up.
The only thing I have to add to that is the traffic comments and fire life safety. The project will not be approved if they do not meet all city standards. We do have a traffic engineer from the city here available for any questions if you need anything more specific, but it cannot be approved unless they approve it.
Great, thank you.
Right.
I appreciate the information. Yep. And that said, I'm fine with moving forward.
I'm sorry, I can no longer raise my hand, unfortunately, digitally, so I'm going to raise my hand manually in the camera. But I just also wanted to highlight for the commissioners, not that this would be of a key concern for you, but the school is targeting delivery of this project in August of 2026, opening the doors to allow 400 new elementary school students to the access of this high-performing charter school. It's a school that the Aurora Public School District has named as one of its highest performing in a neighborhood that, really deserves to be served with the highest possible levels of education. So I just wanted to highlight for the commissioners that we're as a project team trying to establish, the best possible design and address all the critical elements, including fire, including life safety, including access, ADA compliance, and drainage issues to the city's satisfaction. And I think we're there with the different departments based on the reviews that we've had so far and the final submissions. But a meeting with the school board or a hearing with the Board of Education presents a scheduling challenge that will delay our ability to move forward and then deliver this public education option to these families and students. And not that that should guide decisions, but I just wanted to highlight that. I think we're, as a team, are always happy to come back and present to you all the results of the final reviews of the different departments within the city, but would just simply ask that consideration be given to the fact that if we don't move forward soon, as we hope to do, given the timelines for the review of our different permits with the different city departments, then we will be unable to deliver the project.
Right. I have a comment. Again, we have 3 stages. Okay, we could move forward with the proposal. Second, we could call a meeting with the school board. And, even after we call the meeting with the school board and say that the changes are made, we're still not going to vote on approval or disapproval of this particular project. I think that the issues that we have brought up tonight really will go to the school board, and I would think that our department, the planning department for Aurora, is working with the school board to resolve some of the issues that we've brought up tonight. So I agree with Commissioner Banka and Gail as well, that we move forward.
This is Commissioner Jacek. I think that's logical. We could ask them to come back for a brief study session presentation after things have been resolved, just for reassurance. But I really think we're going to be okay.
This is Commissioner Geyser. I guess it doesn't do good to raise my hand. Anyway, I am the only one here who has actually met with the school board as a city council member of the city county in Broomfield, and I don't really think that it accomplished anything different. So I'm with just moving ahead and trusting the staff to do the work that's supposed to be done.
Yep.
Commissioner Riley and Commissioner Chair
Yeah.
Wall.
As a transportation engineer is on, I'm just again interested in what the traffic safety issues and the mitigation of those issues with that major roadway. And then I'm hearing they want kids to cross the street from the Highline Canal. I still think safety. So I'm just interested in what the transportation people have got to say and how they think they're going to remediate these concerns.
Chair Walls.
I don't. Commissioner Riley, did you actually want Dean to respond?
Yes.
Or, I believe Dean is on the call with us.
Yes, I do.
My
I don't know.
apologies.
That's okay.
Sorry, Commissioner Riley, I didn't know that question was to me. Yes, obviously, I got to review the traffic impact study that was presented with the advisory site plan. I had a lot of, I don't want to call them minor issues, but there was some significant components of what I looked at, what I've been doing for the last 37 years of my career, last 3 here in the city of Aurora. And just had some, significant issues with how they looked at some of the traffic coming out. They did look at that PM commuter peak time, which is typically 4 to 6, but schools are, typically closed well before that. So I mentioned that. I'm looking. When I look to my side, I actually have the report pulled up. I will say that they are. The flow of traffic in there right now, and even with the new building and the parking lot to the rear, the flow is going to be that the eastern access is actually 2-way. The western access is a exit only, and it's exit only to the right. They leave and turn right because it is a divided highway, so they can't go straight across there anyway. So they're trying to even out the traffic flow because you're going to have so many parents coming to pick up, drop off their kids and stuff like that. When they're leaving, obviously, they're gonna find the easiest way to get out and hopefully the least amount of queuing. So they basically evened out the amount of traffic. The right turns out of there is not too surprising. There's a bit of a delay. There is a heavy traffic volume on Alameda, obviously. I was concerned that they did not look at the operation of that mid-block traffic signalized pedestrian crossing. There was no indication from the report that I could see that there were students potentially walking to the school. I did also ask for an operations plan. I don't know. I wasn't given any details on the age groupings of the students, the grades and things like that. So I don't have a good sense of what the expectation is regarding walking kids, walking parents, those people versus, we can get traffic numbers because they took a traffic count. We saw what's coming into the existing facility and we apply that to, what the proposal number is. But yeah, I didn't get a whole lot of information on that. So that was one of my concerns when I did review the report. But operationally, I'm on that same stance where I know what's going to happen is because it is a divided highway, a lot of those parents are going to end up either doing U-turns at the western traffic signal, not the Highline Canal, but the next road down. That's always a variable because we're starting to get away from the site, and what those people are doing, we don't have a good handle on to begin with. So we have asked them to also, they were looking at a safety analysis of the whole corridor between the two intersections. There's not that many crashes, like grouped crashes, so it's not a serious area of concern at this point. So everything we're trying to do is to try to make sure that this is going to, flow smoothly. Looking and ask them for the school closing time. Now, if they come back in, as was explained, that they might look at staggering the different grades, that would be a nice thing to see. That would help reduce some of that, immense traffic flow during those peak periods, obviously. So that's what we would hope to see if they do come back in with some type of operation that would show that.
All right, so you're saying staff would be comfortable if the developer would come back and mitigate the concerns that you have just addressed?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yes.
All right, and for sake of time, here's what I would like to recommend. We have 3 options: move forward, planning commissioner meeting with the school board, which I clearly heard the applicant to say that would create a time issue. There's some logistics, blah, blah, blah. Or request to see the proposal after some issues are resolved. Unless I misunderstood the applicants, plural, that you would be willing to come back and let us know, for lack of a better word, how much progress you have made to resolve some of these issues. And my point being is that I recognize that we are in an advisory capacity only, but that means that it's our responsibility to advise. So to simply wash our hands and say, all right, doesn't matter what you think anyway, I don't think that that's correct. I don't think that's correct for the school board. I am hoping that applicants want to hear this so they don't hear it at a later date after their plans are fully baked. So I guess my question to the applicants is, are you willing to come back to Planning Commission and provide us an update on traffic impact studies, the plats, some of the reasons that the city has recommended that you are not in compliance, I guess, for lack of a better word. Are you willing to do that?
Yeah, sorry. I can hear Big Ben in the background.
Oh, yes. Your time ticking away, buddy.
It's so funny. It reminds me of my childhood. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we're here because we want to be as transparent as we possibly can, and we want to hear from you, absolutely. But I think, and as you've heard, your own staff are reviewing our documents, and your own staff are resolving, quote unquote, resolving the outstanding issues, which really amounts to we have already received comments, and we are already, if we have not already, addressed those comments, and are now in the resubmittal. So I would be more than happy to come back and present to you. I guess my ask would be, would it be possible to do that in a less formal process? Because my concern only being, once, let's say, the city Public Works Department and Aurora Water and the Traffic Department and the Engineering Department all approve our plans to move forward, given that this group is advisory, I'm left wondering, does that allow us the ability to move forward and hit our schedule date? Because we should be moving forward. But we'd be more than happy to come back and present to you the results of the studies that have been resolved with the different departments in the city that have addressed fire safety, fire, life safety, access, traffic, etc., etc.
Benjamin, how long will it take for the applicant to meet with you and resolve, at least even if you agree to disagree, the traffic impact study, the plat issues, the architectural issues, and more of the civil work? How long will this take? A month?
So there's 2 questions to that. One being the main concerns of the TIS and civil and fire life safety. That's part of the civil review process that is beyond me. And it's dependent on review cycles, how many times it takes. So it's completely dependent on the other departments' reviews as well as the applicant's submission and quality of submission. As for any of the other issues in terms of the UDO, it's still up to the applicant if they are going to try to resolve any of those issues. Since it's still advisory, it will not be required by the city. We can do that. We would likely need a review cycle of maybe 3 weeks. But again, that is completely dependent on what the applicant wants to change. But from the civil side of things, I can't fully speak to it, and there are a lot of factors. But I can work to schedule a Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, a study session meeting, kind of concurrently with that as needed.
Someone else raised their hand. Jason, was it you?
Before Commissioner Hogan, in respect of time, I think I'm going to interrupt our speaker and ask that we conclude. Unless there's any desire to ask them to come back, I certainly don't have the desire to have another hour of my life wasted, especially if there's no particular action by the commission at that point. I don't think I need them to come back. Unless anybody else on the commission specifically wants them to. We need to wrap this up. We got to go.
I agree.
Do we have concurrence among commissioners?
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
Okay. I would just ask that staff keep us briefed on this, because I would ask that we talk about this process after we've concluded this meeting. Thank you very, very much for those on the applicant side that has attended. Thank you, commissioners. We will resume our meeting at 6:10, and I look forward to seeing your smiling faces at that point. Thank you.
Thank you very much, commissioners.